Well, welcome to the Vintage Vikings, talking Vikings history. Boy, do we have one for you guys tonight. Uh, is it kid friendly? Nope.
No, it's
Is it,
honestly, folks,
it?
if there's kids out there, put them away for this one. This is
Yeah.
pretty racy.
Is it parent friendly? Mom, I love you, but I don't know how you can see if you want to watch it. I don't.
Oh my God.
We can see how it is, but so we have the Love Boat, and boy, this is probably going to after last week's depressing show. This one is not going to be that.
Skull Vikings, let's win this game. Skull Vikings, honor your name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em, fight, 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 fight. Go Vikings, run out the score. You'll hear us yell for more. Vikings, Skull Vikings, let's go.
Love that intro.
Mm-hmm.
So, with everything that's been going on lately, we need some humor. We need some stories. We need some, sens- uh, we need some sensualized sensation going on.
Right.
Um,
And this one is probably, if one of the biggest, if not the biggest kind of scandals in Viking history.
yep.
It was, oh my God.
Last call to good aboard because once we leave port, we don't know what's going to happen.
Oh my God. I remember when it happened.
October 6th, 2005.
Right. Leading up to that, I was good friends with one of the guys I worked with was good friends with former Viking Lance Johnstone. He told me about this thing this team get together they were having on Lake Minnetonka. I was invited. He invited me. He talked to Lance. Lance was like, "Yeah, sure, come out, bring his friends with him." I was in the process of moving, and so I was busy with everything in between jobs, and I forgot all about it. So when I heard what went down, I'm like, okay, I got to hear from my guy because he was on there. He was front and center because the way they were making it sound like it was just something that, oh my God, this is just something you hear in a Hollywood play. The first thing that came to me was, remember that part in the movie in Any Given Sunday where they had the team party?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first thing that came to mind, and I've known players to have these actual parties, and the reason they got the boats was because, now let's rewind. The Vikings at that point were like 1-5 or 1-6. The year was just bad. The year was bad. It was going bad.
Yeah, 2005 was not a very good year
Right. It
for
started out
them.
like garbage, and the team was just not. They didn't buy into Tice. They just wasn't there. Well, anyway, they were supposed to have a team party at Dante Culpepper's house. Dante's wife was going out of town. Was supposed to go out of town the weekend of that get together. Well, she decided to stay in town, so they couldn't use Dante's house. Now, previously, before then, whenever they had parties like that, they used Randy's house, Randy Moss's house, but Randy was gone.
Yeah, so they were 1-3 at the bye.
Yep.
This was the bye week. They were 1-3 at the bye when
Yep.
they did this party.
And then, so they decided to rent the boats. And so my buddy's like, yeah, I'll talk to Lance. And then when I talk to my buddy again, he's like, Lance is cool. You can bring a couple of you guys and come on out to. He told me where to go at Lake Minnetonka, and it's gonna be a damn. He said it was gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
But I missed it. So when I heard what went down, I had to hear from him. And then when I finally heard from him, it was about 2 or 3 weeks later. Oh, he had a lot to tell me.
So
Oh my God.
So the 17 players on the Vikings T-boat were quarterback Dante Culpepper, Fritz
Okay.
Hoot, Noel Demore, Pat Williams, Bryant McKinney, Burleson, Ralph Brown, Jermaine Wiggins, Troy Williamson, Travis Taylor, Kevin Williams, Lance Johnson, uh, which is who you're talking about,
Yeah, Lance
uh,
Johnstone.
Mo Williams, and Willie Alford. Two houseboats were rented, and some, but not all of the players performed the S Act in front of crew members. Uh, Prostitutes from Atlanta and Florida were flown into the party in order to perform the S Acts. I don't want to get hit by YouTube, so I'll just skip
Bryant
forward.
McKinney. Bryant McKinney
Yeah,
got the girls in town. That was Brian
yeah.
McKinney's deal.
And then there were at least 90 people on the two boats, and Smoot later estimated that there were over 100 women present. An anonymous former player of the Vikings claimed that this was not the first time that such an incident had happened. The scandal has sometimes been referred to as the Love Boat scandal, or the Smoot Boat scandal in the news. So basically, how this came to light was a woman called the police around 9:20 on that night and reported that seven very large black men were urinating in her yard, exiting the big shuttle bus limousine, according to the transcript. They later mentioned that the men were sitting at Al's and Alma's, the name of the charter of the cruise company where the Vikings rent the boats. Stephen Doyle, attorney for the charter company, said some of the S acts alleged by witnesses have taken place during the party included uh, the M word, OS, AS, women on man, women on women, and men on woman, toys, DP, all in the middle of the floor, the middle of the couches, in the middle of the room. The cleaning crew said they found condoms, KY jelly, hand wipes, and wrappers from the S toys. There was no drugs. There was no drugs or minor on the boat. So at least there was that.
Oh my god! Oh, okay. God, and I'm only reason I'm laughing so loud so much is because I remember what my guy said to me those years ago.
Yeah.
He told me what was going on. Of course, we talk in slang. He
Right.
told me everything that was going on. He put players into it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He knew the. I mean, when I finally got in touch with him, I'm like, dude, you got to tell me what happened on this boat. He's like, well, before I do that, I got to ask you, how much y'all paying Fred Smoot? I'm like, why? I'm like, well, not only was there sex acts going on, they were gambling on the boat.
Yeah.
They were shooting craps. He said he lost a bunch of money to Fred Smoot, and Smoot was talking BS to him. And before the night, he said he wanted to throw Smoot overboard. He hates it. He hated him because Smoot was talking so much BS to him. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll get back to me later. What happened? And he told me everything that you said. He went into detail, and he told me not only were there, there was 90 people between the two boats, but only like 17 were Vikings. That I heard.
Yeah. That's what
right. So I'm like, okay, so who was all there then? He's like, a lot of them brought their crew or brothers that they or folks that they hung out with. And, Brian McKinney got the entertainment. And like Luff says, a lot of the local women were upset that he didn't come to them for their business.
Yeah.
He flew them in, and the things I heard, he went into detail. My God, Caligula was not as bad as those boats were, from what I'm hearing.
I mean, it's so bad that I have to abbreviate it not to get hit by YouTube.
Well, and it was also besides the gambling, and they had people on the boat to, serve the guys the alcohol, which they have minors on the boat to serve alcohol, which I think is against the law.
You could be 18 and serve alcohol. But
I think they were 17.
Oh, okay.
And what happened was the players started pouring their own drinks and beer, which scared the people that were supposed to be serving them because they just kind of got unruly.
Right.
And the captains, I guess, between the two boats were like, okay, what do we do? They decided to take them back into port. But, I mean, the captains were taking pictures with the girls. they were, out there taking pictures, and the girls were just, doing their thing. I mean, literally doing their thing.
Hey, they were paid to do a service. They were doing the service.
And they were paid well. Brian McKinney paid them. I know they interviewed one of the girls that was on the boat. One of the local radio stations did later, and she explained it. It was her job. She was an entertainer, and it wasn't like, and the Vikings weren't the first. She did it for other NFL teams, NBA teams, and stuff like that. So she was, I guess she came recommended. That's all I can say. Four Vikings caught charges. Brian McKinney.
Fred Smoot was the alleged ringleader of the entire operation. He said to have been the one who hired the boats for the cruise on Lake Minnetonka. Smoot's agent.
Okay, let me stop you there.
Had dismissed those claims.
Let me stop you there because Smoot helped pay for the boats.
Right.
The other ones that helped were Brian McKinney, Dante, and Lance Johnstone. So they helped pay for the boats. But Smoot was one, McKinney was one, Mo Williams was one. Dante took his case to court and won. He was found not guilty. I don't know about the other. I think the other ones pled guilty. But yeah, it traumatized, I guess, some people that were there because Alan Alma's is like a really respectable charter and stuff like that. And they just went in there and, like I said, turned it into freaking Caligula. It was bad. And then to make matters worse, somebody had pictures. So they took the pictures, the Polaroids, and they actually sold them to, I think Rolling Stone had a story on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they left their toys, they left the alcohol, but there were no drugs. Imagine that. No drugs.
It says Moretti Gayen, Geyen, who worked on the docks, told a sheriff's detective that the three men planned the charter boat cruises. The day before the party, Gayen told the detectives that Smoot showed up with another man she did not recognize.
Okay.
And then told that the crew members showed. So when Johnstone showed up, the crew members showed Johnstone, Smoot, and the unidentified player around the boats, went over the menus, and talked about specialty liquors. Smoot then signed a contract for the event and gave his address and his phone number so she could bill him for it. Johnstone put his credit card down for the $1,000 deposit, and he said the rest of the bill could be added to his card later. I don't think Lance Johnstone made that much money to cover that, did
More than me at the time. That's all I can say.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And he was a big free agent signing for the Vikings at the time too, so he was making pretty good money. We were paying him pretty good money. But yeah, he like I said before, they wouldn't have had that on I think it was a last second thing because Dante's wife wasn't going out of town. They were going to use his house. So
I bet she wouldn't have been happy about that.
No, I don't. And I think it might have cost Dante his marriage. I think it might have, because once it came out what was going on the boat and the acts he participated in, whoo, Lord, oh my God. Between the acts of McKinney and Dante and Mo Williams, I mean, it was racy. I'm just being honest. It was racy. But there was only 17 Vikings. I did not know Pat and Kevin Williams were on that boat.
Yeah, well, they're kind of. I don't know if they did it because Noel De Moore said that he didn't. He was there, but he didn't do anything because he was engaged.
Right.
So he may have been, because it said not all of the Viking players participated. So he may have been one of the.
No, there was only 17 Vikings.
And then Corn Robinson was always there. But he said he was not on either boat and was upset that the Star Tribune put his name in the incident.
Well, you know who missed the boat, right?
Besides you?
Besides me. I didn't even try. I didn't even try. No, the one that was the boats took off and he was left at the dock was Michael Bennett, the running back.
Oh God, Mr. Wizinator himself.
No, that was Ontario Smith.
Oh, okay.
That was Ontario. Matter of fact, Ontario got cut that year.
Yeah.
So it was Michael Bennett that missed the boat. But here's the thing, though. You had 90 people on both boats, but only 17 were Vikings on,
Yeah.
And so it's like, like everybody's like, well, who are the other people besides the girls? So it was they brought their crews.
They said it was probably 100 women there. So, I mean.
Yeah. And you split them up between the two boats. That's a lot of business going on. And plus they was gambling and it was drinking and it was basically off the chain. It
says Bryant McKinney allegedly picked up a woman, placed her on the bar, and did fellatio on her in front of the crew and other guests. In a June 2013 Reddit Ask Me Anything thread, Fred Smoot referred to this act as running through the okra patch. Later that evening, McKinney and 3 other were spotted sitting in deck chairs receiving fellatio from 4 women, which was also observed by their crew in a public area of the boat.
Oh my God, what did I miss? Oh my God.
Running through the orca patch. I have never heard that before.
Wow. And that's one of the, and McKinney got charged for that. I think it was
was it like public
something? Performing a public sex act in public. He got that. So did Dante. So did Mo Williams, Fred Smoot. They got charged with. That's what, and it was the Hennepin County was the one that charged them.
Yeah.
And oh my God, just now, only in Viking history. Only.
Oh yeah.
Only.
And I was telling Tony before this came on the air. By the way, they have this listed. They have it listed as participants, and I think they forgot to put a line because they have Ziggy Wolf listed as a participant.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So that's when he came out with the
Ziggy had just bought the team.
Yeah, he says the level of discipline will no longer be tolerated at any level.
Right.
The events of the past week are unacceptable. If there was any sense of that, we would look the other way regarding the type of behavior. I want to make it extremely clear that the behavior will not be tolerated again.
Well, Ziggy came up here.
Yeah.
And he was right away trying to get a stadium. So, he comes up here, he's trying to get a stadium. So he's trying to put a great product on the field and, which is kind of where this is why this team is the way it is nowadays.
Yeah.
And when that happened, I mean, oh God, he didn't want, the public perception was already bad anyway. And people were making jokes. NFL was making big time jokes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. NFL was making big time jokes.
Yeah.
Exactly, Luff. The code of conduct came out right afterwards, and they've been living with that even to this day.
Yeah.
And that code of conduct stems from what happened on the Love Boat.
Yeah.
It stems from it. And every decision that they've made, they now look at a character, a team's character. And it all stems from the Love Boat. It only took one night of debauchery on Lake Minnetonka to change the whole attitude of this damn franchise, which was nothing new. It had been happening for years. Like I said before, they had those parties all the time, but they usually had them at somebody's house. It used to be Randy's. Then when Randy was traded, Dante was going to have it at his. Things happened, it didn't work out. That's why they rented the boats.
Yeah, it says there were photographs taken, and only the 4 players that were charged were the 4 players that were actually in the photos. That's why they were the ones charged. Later,
because my guy told me somebody was taking pictures around there left and right.
Yeah, it said later the pointed this to the scandal out as a key event in history, leading to the firing of head coach Mike Tice, who was replaced by kick-ass offense.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
6 days after the game.
Yeah. So just think, if they wouldn't have stopped and peed on that woman's lawn. Like, could you imagine that call? Oh, help me! I got 7 large black men peed in my yard.
Okay, and for history, for people to know, the area that they were, Lake Minnetonka, there are people of color out there, just
Right.
not in that area.
Yeah. Not that big either.
And not that big.
Can you imagine how big Bryant McKinney is to a normal person?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with McKinney. McKinney, not too far from where I live. This is after the Love Boat. He got into a fight at a gas station with Marcus Johnson, a teammate. I mean, they got in a full-blown fist fight over here. And so he was always kind of that reckless, that kind of like he lived like he was from Miami. He lived it. And and plus he took out a loan because he had a record company and all that stuff. He took out the NFL gave him a loan. I think he's still paying it back. Bryant McKinney, but he did get a ring with the Ravens. So, but yeah, I mean, Bryant McKinney was just he's just wilding out. That's all I can say. They all were. That boat changed the attitude and the culture of this Viking. Whenever the Vikings talk about culture now,
yeah,
and the way they stress it, it's because of what happened.
And then the Star Tribune in 2015 wrote a 10-year anniversary of the Love Boat scandal.
Mm-hmm.
It says the anniversary was yesterday, but the news didn't break until a few days after it happened. So
yeah,
I can consider this a week long celebration. You'll find a lot of details about what allegedly happened and what didn't happen on various parts of the internet. But in case you are coming to this cold, here are the few paragraphs from the main news story of the Star Tribune after the scandal. Minnesota Vikings are being investigated. Minnesota Viking players are being investigated in connection with a lake cruise that turned into a wild sex party last week on Lake Minnetonka. The party became so out of control that crew members on the 2 yachts were offered money for sex and feared for their safety. The law enforcement authorities and an attorney for the cruise company said Tuesday. The excursion Thursday on the 2 yachts owned by Alan Alma's Supper Club and Charter Cruises in Mound was organized by first-year Viking safety Fred Smoot and possibly 2 other players, according to Stephen Boyle, the company attorney. At least 17 players who have been identified as being on the yachts. He said it was unclear how many were involved in the sex-related activities. At least 90 people were on the 2 yachts. The boats were ordered to return to shore just 40 minutes into what had been planned a 3.5-hour cruise after the supervisors learned the alleged behavior. So that's the long and short of it. But there's also that same year, Steve Smith Sr. Beat Fred Smoot for a touchdown pass, and he did a
rowing thing in the end zone.
In the end zone, he did the row the boat celebration in the end zone.
Yeah, Frozen North. I forgot about that too. They started propositioning the caterers, and the caterers were young.
Yeah,
the caterers were kids. They were like 16, 17. Yeah, and everybody, because they was gambling on that boat. Everybody was losing money. Trust me, I heard that much. They was shooting dice and everything, and they was losing money. And then they was giving money to the girls. So they all had money. So they was basically making it rain up in that damn thing.
Yes, that was the M word I was talking about. There's a lot of that going on.
Oh my God!
So I don't want. We can't afford to get hit by YouTube.
Oh God, yeah, no kidding. Jeez, yeah, a lot of self-pleasure on that boat there. There was a lot of it. The toys, the toys, the alcohol. There was just all. Yeah, they were shooting dice. That's how my boy lost his money to Fred Smoot. They were shooting dice. And like I said, he wanted to throw Smoot off the boat. So
God, that has to be one of the worst free agent signings the Vikings ever had. Not because he didn't perform up to his standards, but also all the trouble he caused while he was here.
yeah, the trouble, and plus, they had a chance to draft him, and they didn't. They drafted Michael Bennett.
Yeah.
But that was, and Denny chose not to draft him. But yeah, I mean, he was all talk. He just never lived up to his expectations. But yeah, he was, and then he comes up here and he's kind of that partying dude too. He used to be down in downtown Minneapolis all the time.
No mention of Matt Burke on that cruise. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no mention of Matt. Who were the players on that boat again?
Let's see.
Besides the ones we've talked about, who did they say?
According to Wikipedia, okay. So it was Dante Culpepper,
Okay.
Fred Smoot,
Yeah.
Noel Day Moore.
Yeah, Milwaukee was on that boat.
Pat Williams.
Wow.
Nate Burleson.
Nate was on that boat?
Ralph Brown.
Wait. Mr. CBS in the Morning was on that boat?
But keep in mind, they said not all players participated.
It doesn't matter. He was there. Oh, my God. Okay. Oh.
Ralph Brown. Jermaine Wiggins.
Jermaine Wiggins. I expect Jermaine on there.
Travis Taylor.
Oh, yeah. I expect Travis, too.
Kevin Williams.
Did not expect Kevin Williams on that boat.
Mo Williams and Willie Alford. So it's funny they don't mention, I guess.
And Michael Bennett missed the boat.
Yeah. And Corwin William Robinson, the Star Tribune, said he was there, but according to this, he wasn't there.
Corin said he was, though, right?
No, he said he was not there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Robinson claimed that he was not on either boat and was upset that the Star Tribune associated him with the incident, given his effort to rebuild.
He was trying to rebuild his image.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Matter of fact, he went to the Pro Bowl that year.
Yeah. He says, I wasn't there. As far as the whole situation, I just know I wasn't on the boat and I don't want to get involved. I don't want my name brought up because of what I just went through and what I'm still going through. So for my name to be brought up was just crazy and upsetting because I don't want anyone looking at me because I had nothing to do with it, which makes sense because, like you said, he was substance abuse issues. You don't want to be on that boat with the substance abuse issues.
No, and he's trying to rehab his career too, which he got cut a year later because he was late for a team meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in Frozen North. You're right. They had those parties before, but they had them at somebody's house. They were usually at a player's house. Like I said, it used to be Randy Moss, but when Randy got traded, they needed a new place, and they chose Dante's house, but Dante's wife decided.
Randy's innocent. Randy never did anything wrong.
Really, dude? You gonna go there? Really? I know he's your idol. Come on. He's Randy Moss.
Yeah,
it's not uncommon for players in sports to have these type of parties. It's very common.
Very common. Just like from the show. I remember the show The Ballers was on, or that one show that one football show that ESPN had, and they try to tell everybody that this is not what happens. But they said the show was real and this stuff does happen.
It does happen.
But they wanted to do like a season, like the NFL told them don't do
it
because it doesn't happen. But
Michael Irvin had a crib called the White House.
Yeah.
Come on now. Every team does it. And now because of the notoriety, the players have to be super slick about it because everybody reports everything. So, and this was really before social media. It was there, but it wasn't as bad. But you knew it was a bad situation. You knew it made news when it was on TMZ, it was on ESPN, it was on.
Yeah.
It was talked about everywhere. And local news, the reason it was talked about here so much is because it was during sweeps week.
Right.
So this was they dug up every player's past and they wanted to find the girls. And it was pretty much nonstop. And then I got sick of hearing about it.
So there was a story from NBC Sports, and there's a young picture of Ziggy Wolf here. It says several women who were allegedly had sex with Minnesota Viking players on the charter cruise on October 6th were flown in from Georgia, according to the reports cited from the Star Tribune. The newspaper said that local police have been discussing the reports with Atlanta PD. Crew members on the boats told police that several women who had S with the players were flown in. The Star Tribune reported, citing sources close to the investigation. The Star Tribune said it interviewed 3 more of the 17 players on Monday night whose names were on the list given to police and team officials. There's a new name here. By the boat company, defensive end Lance Johnstone and safeties Kent Irvin and Willie Alford. So the names just keep piling up. It says,
well, you know what? What happened right there is, okay, if they were brought up here to do that,
wouldn't that be like sex trafficking,
sex trafficking and prostitution, and there's federal charges there. Those are federal charges. That's why they were looking into it. So proving it, I think, is one thing. But yeah, those are federal charges. Those are hardcore. That's hardcore jail time.
Yeah. It says, let me see. It says, others on the list given police were quarterback Dante, Bryant McKinney, Fred Smoot, Kevin Williams. So he obviously was there because his name keeps reappearing.
Mm-hmm.
Jermaine Williams, Mo Williams, Nate Burleson. So he had to be there.
I don't know. Oh my God. I can't watch anything Nate Burleson is on now. I just can't.
This is not a surprise. Another new name, Darren Sharper. After what came out about him, that does not surprise me at all. He was probably the one hitting the young girls up. He's got to be the one that was probably hitting the
And here's the thing. I forgot. That was his first year with the team. And now that I'm thinking about it, you mentioned off the names, and I was kind of like, wait a minute, where's Darren Sharper? Now that you just said it, I'm like, there he is.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And Darren was notorious up here.
It said that Mwede Moore was the only one confirmed that he was on the boat, but he's the only one who denied any sexual activity.
Sure, BLD. We'll take your word for it.
And then on Monday, Vikings owner Ziggy Wolf announced that he had hired a former FBI agent as a team director of security with NFL Tagliabue. And it goes on to tell you about Dag Solberg.
Who's that?
That's the guy that hired from the FBI.
Okay.
Yeah. Then it goes back to just the new how they're going to implement a new player safety and all that type of stuff.
Can you pull up what Bob Sweet asked? Can you pull up what he said?
Sure.
Comments?
Let me see. Which one? The last one you just asked?
I hope, yeah. The I hope one.
Okay.
Here's what Dante, as I said, was found guilty on his charges. I think everybody else pled guilty and paid a fine. I know Mo Williams pled guilty and paid a fine, and then he retired. Because they didn't go to court until the next year.
I think Dante was the only one that went to court over it.
Dante was the only one that went to court.
I think he was trying to save his marriage. I think he was trying to say that he didn't do any sexual acts or anything
he
like
beat
that.
it. He beat it, but Dante, you got
the wife knows.
Yeah, Dante, you got caught, brother. That's all. Just deal with it. You got caught. And what I heard you were doing, dude, yeah, you got caught.
Yeah.
What I heard Dante was doing and what Bryant McKinney was doing, yeah.
Well, I imagine that the story has been edited somewhat to clear it up for public consumption.
You know what?
Um,
That's it. Wikipedia's got the clean version. They got the clean. Oh, good one, Frozen North. They've got the clean version, but yeah, it's pretty graphic in nature. But with that, like we said, that started the code of conduct that the team now goes by nowadays. Because, I mean, the Wills bought the team, and the Wills were trying to get that stadium.
yeah.
Oh, for God's sakes, love! Did you go there? Oh my God! Oh Lord!
So it says,
Oh my God!
so it says here, this is from ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota Vikings owner Ziggy Wolf delivered an intense, profanity laced address to the team on Friday regarding the now infamous sex boat scandal. During the meeting, Wolf threatened to remove players from the roster who were involved in the planning of the party, according to the article of this week's issue in Sports Illustrated. So he says, "This ain't the first time Vikings players have been involved on Lake Minnetonka with some women," a former Vikings player told SI. "I went out there several times with a few other guys and some strippers when all of us were single. But we get on a boat that one of the guys owns. Everything happened in private."
Oh, it was
And
a
then
private boat. It was a
and then
private boat.
this shit has been going on every year. Another Vikings told the
Yeah,
magazine, and every year it has escalated.
yeah. You know what? I'm going to be honest. It probably still happens. It probably still happens, but they just keep it undercover
It
more.
says an article also quotes that three players from last year's team who claimed that in a late season meeting, head coach Mike Tice offered to fight any team member who wanted a piece of him. None of the players were identified. Neither Mike nor Wolf could be contacted for comment on this article.
Yeah, Mike had lost that team. Tice had lost that team. They
What coach says that?
Dan Campbell.
Well, not to his own players, though.
Oh, yeah, he had lost it. And you know what? He's not the first. There was another one that said that. I forget who it was, but yeah, Tice had lost that locker room. He lost that locker. Um, but and he knew it was on his way out. And oh, for God's good one, Mateo. Good one. Oh my God. Oh.
uh,
Mm-mm-mm. I can only imagine what they was playing.
oh, Rap, you've missed some great stuff so far, man.
Oh. But yeah,
Oh,
it was debauchery at its finest. It was. That was a time that, oh my God, just hearing about it and the fact that it's at the time, I was like, I'm glad I didn't go. But then there was a part of me was like, God damn, I wish I had went. I would have witnessed all this shit. But then again, it's like, did I really want to be a part of it?
yeah.
Did I really want to be on that boat when it happened? So,
So
just hearing what my guy told me was just like, damn.
the 911 call was released, and it said the caller said there's a big shuttle bus limousine that pulled up alongside my house, and there were like 7 huge black men that got out and stopped and peed all over my yard. Dispatcher, how many? It was like 6 or 7. The caller says there was a whole busload of them, but the bus driver stopped right along my house, and there was 6 or 7 big black men that got out. Probably, I'd say 19, 18, 19, maybe even 20. And after dispatcher asked for the plate number, they're sitting at Owl and Amos. Uh,
Yeah, that like I said, that area, that's Mound. So ain't a whole lot of brothers out there. Let's just be honest. But yeah, oh my God, that
I just like how she said 6 or 7 huge black men.
Oh, and back then, she probably was freaked out. I mean,
Yeah.
This is '05, so she was
Yeah.
probably freaked out. But yeah, it's and yeah, I mean, it was the offensive line. But yeah, I mean, and you probably know who the big guys were. You
Well,
know,
Bryant McKinney is
oh,
definitely
McKinney's one. Brian. The Williams. Both the
right.
Williams were
But then
there,
probably Johnstone.
and John Stone
Yeah.
and Wiggins,
Yeah.
Jermaine Wiggins.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah, the
God,
bus
this
driver
is
really did.
hilarious.
He did. It's that part after what we talked about last week. This was actually something to talk about because it was part of what it kind of led to what the Wilfs have been building here since they've had the team. And it all fits in. The reason is because of what happened with the Love Boat, with the whole Love Boat thing. Not just, and those era players are gone, so it's a different era. You don't know. I mean, players still like to have fun, and they're still gonna have fun. They're still gonna do player things, but for then the way that went down, that just blew the lid off of everything.
Yeah. October 14th of that year, Wolf says a code of conduct is coming for the Vikings. The Vikings owner Ziggy Wolf said Friday he had met with the players to express his anger and embarrassment over reports of the sexual misconduct on the charter cruise last week. And that goes back to the story that the profane lease meeting that he had on a charter, and vowed to do all he could to prevent further scandal. Wolf, in his first comments since the story broke, said that this team will institute a code of conduct that demands high standards, high morals, and success. In his remarks to the players, Wolf said, "I expressed my anger and I expressed my embarrassment on behalf of my family and the first people who worked hard here." Stephen Doyle, an attorney representing the boat's owner, said that cornerback Fred Smoot paid for one of the cruises on Lake Minnetonka. So it seems like Fred Smoot was the main.
Smoot had the money. It was Fred Moot's idea.
Yeah. And it says the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office was investigating at the time.
Yeah. No, Bob Sweet, Bob, it was a players only get together.
Yeah.
Tice wasn't there. Matter of fact, the players didn't like Tice. They were done with Tice even then.
Yeah. Tim Pawlenty was the governor.
Yeah, Pawlenty was the governor.
Yeah.
Yep, he was the governor.
And it says Wolf and the Vikings have been pursuing state money for a $675 million stadium. Well, that price is a little low.
Yeah, but that was 05.
That's when they were doing. That's when they were doing the dual domes, right next to each other.
Yeah,
is that the plan?
Everybody played there. Gophers, Twins, and Vikings. Everybody played there.
Yeah. No, it was players only. Well, players only in their crew.
Yeah, players only and their friends.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. If you were invited by them, which I was invited, and
but it's right though. I'll never look at Nate Burleson the same.
I can't. I'm like, dude, you were on the boat.
If I ever see him in person, I'd be like, the love boat.
I know what happened. I know what I heard from my guy. But there are still some guys that live in the Twin Cities.
That could be true, Gary.
I wouldn't surprise me. It was. I wouldn't surprise. Mark is. I got my feelings on Mark, but yeah, I mean, and that changed. That right there is why the Wolves are the way they are now, as far as PR.
Yeah,
they need positive PR. That's I wish too evil. Oh God. It's that, and the Wolves have been on that ever since. And sometimes it seems kind of, it's like everything now, like with Addison earlier this year. with him driving as fast as he did on Interstate 94, on a stretch of 94, which, by the way, I've traveled that stretch of 94 doing over what I should be many a time back in the day. But you didn't have the speed traps like you do now. So, but yeah, it's just kind of, everything with the Vikings now is positive publicity. But here's the thing: they got their stadium, they got everything. I mean, they've gotten the Wills have come to Minnesota and gotten famous. They've gotten rich, literally rich. So, 05 helped them get there. Help. The state did finally help them get their stadium. Took a lot of dramatics, but no, I never did 140. I was lucky to do 70. Especially in the wrecks I was driving.
You're lucky to 0 to 70 in 5 miles.
Actually, too evil. There's that one where he got pulled over. That's off of it's right there on near Dale Street. There's a stretch between Marion and probably Snelling that people get pulled over a lot now. They used to didn't before. Now they get pulled over a lot. So, but yeah, I mean, you know what though? You kind of miss those days.
The funny thing is after the Love Boat, they went on a run.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the first game after that. Was that Chicago?
The first game after that was Chicago. That was a loss.
Right. And the Bears fans were letting us have it. They were letting us have it.
And then they won at home against the Packers.
Yeah, they beat the Packers.
Then they lost to Carolina.
That's where Dante got hurt.
And then they ran off.
Yeah, so it was like
in a row.
Yeah, so it was like 3 weeks after when when Steve Smith did the whole Rowan in the end zone.
Yeah.
That was and then Dante got hurt. But yeah, they rattled off, oh my God.
7 in a row.
7 in a row. They were on the cusp of making the playoffs. That year. Yeah. I think they lost to Baltimore. I think that's what ended it. Was it Baltimore?
They lost to Pittsburgh and Baltimore back to
Pittsburgh and Baltimore, yeah. Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
And then they beat Chicago the final game of the season.
Yeah, and then 50 minutes later, Mike Tice was fired.
They swept Green Bay and they swept Detroit that year.
Yeah. Split with the Bears.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that year was just, you knew it was when they lost to Tampa Bay, you knew something was up.
And that goes back to the Vikings' history of being, when they should be bad, they're not.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I mean, they almost made the playoffs still.
And let's see. Richard, I was reading Dave's comment about the Daily Norseman at the time too.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about the time of the Love Boat, Dave, or the stadium push?
I think the stadium push. Yeah, I think the stadium push, because what's his name was not getting a stadium, McCombs.
No, because he didn't want to put any money.
No, he didn't want any money towards it. Then he was threatening to move the team to San Antonio. So,
which would never been a realistic. I'm telling you all right now, that was never a realistic threat because Jerry Jones would never allow the team to come to San Antonio.
Frozen North, what I remember is it was all over the country. I mean, it made whose monologue did it make?
Even in Florida, it was all over the news.
Yeah,
down in Florida, because I lived in Florida at the time.
I don't know if it was. Was Letterman still on then? Because one of the late night people did a joke about it, and I forget who it was.
Let me see if it mentions anything about that here.
Yeah, it was either Letterman or I forget who it was. Was it Leno? It was Leno. Leno mentioned it. Jay Leno mentioned it in his monologue on the Tonight Show. Everybody else, most of your local, like I said, TMZ covered it. Rolling Stone did an in-depth article on it, and Rolling Stone had pictures in the story. you know. But yeah, it was but it
It
made
was,
this it was all over the country. Yeah,
yeah.
Letterman. Yeah, I think it was either I think Leno made a comment on it. Letterman was on then. That's what I thought.
Yeah. No, I mean, just to play. You don't remember all the players that were there, but man, this is having flashbacks of the whole
Yeah,
story.
yeah. And honestly, the only one of those players that lasted through Childress's regime was the Williams and Bryant McKinney. That was it. Everybody else got let go or signed with somebody else.
Well, some of those players, though, I mean,
Well, Burleson left and
right,
went to
but
Detroit, but a lot of those players they got either traded or retired or cut. Um,
well, look at that. Like Ralph Brown wasn't very good.
no, Brown
Uh,
was a spot guy.
right.
Wiggins played another year and then he left.
Yeah.
Travis Taylor, who was cut on Christmas Day the next year?
I think that was Robinson because he missed a meeting.
No, Corn got cut before preseason.
I thought I remember Corn Robinson being cut on Christmas.
No, he got cut. He got cut during training camp because he was late for a team meeting and he got caught speeding, getting back to the team meeting, and the Vikings cut him. And then it was either Travis Taylor or it was Travis Taylor.
No, it was Marcus Robinson who got cut on Christmas Eve.
Marcus Robinson, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, not Corn Robinson, Marcus Robinson.
Marcus Robinson, yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do remember a player being cut on Christmas Day.
Yeah, Childress cut him.
Well, Childress should have been cut on Christmas Day.
Yeah, that was a Childress move.
But guy, I just don't. I mean, I remember the story, and I'm like, we had to deal enough with Viking fans already.
Oh God, yeah, and the Packer fans were just letting us have it. They were just kind of like they were just little jokes here and there, and their team actually sucked that year.
Yeah,
their team actually sucked that year. I think that was what's his name's last year as a head coach. The coach
Holmgren?
they had, no, it wasn't Holmgren. The coach they had before McCarthy, Sherman,
is it Ray Sherman?
Mike Sherman, or whatever his name was. But that was his last year. Yeah, and that was just the talk of the league. Talk of the league.
Well, at least they were talking about the Vikings, I guess.
Yeah, it wasn't good, but oh my God, Gary, you're right. And for those that don't know about that, after a game on national TV,
I think it was when they beat the 49ers, right?
I think they beat the Lions. They were in Detroit. They won the game. Well, they have the live feed from the locker room that Fox would do. They kind of panned the locker room. Well, they panned to a certain part, somebody coming in. Well, they caught Visante Shenko naked, and all his glory was just hanging there.
We all use regular towels. He had to use the beach towel.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean.
Yeah, and so it was just out there for the world to see, and it became a meme. It became like the most paused part of a video ever, and that's what he's known for. So, but yeah, I think that was like a couple of years, 2-3 years before he got here. But yeah, exactly, Luft. My God. Oh, Luff, my guy hated Smoot. Smoot ended up with some of his money. That's why. That's why he hated Smoot. He wanted to kill Smoot.
Yeah, controversies come and go, Bob, and none live on like the Vikings love those.
But the memories live on. They do. They really do. And it's got a lot to do with today's current history.
Yeah, behind a female reporter, no less.
Yeah. Yep. My God.
That's why some people say females should not be in the locker room until the men are fully clothed.
Which I agree with.
Because no male reporters allowed in the female dressing room until they're fully clothed.
I honestly think here's what I think. Whether you win, lose, or whatever, I don't think you should let reporters immediately in the locker room.
No.
Give that team at least 15, 20 minutes. When they feel they're ready, give the team some time to be together, to talk about things, to vent or whatever.
Yeah.
Get those guys ready to talk to the press and then let them in.
Like when the Vikings, like the Minneapolis Miracle, when the Vikings beat the Saints, they were interviewing Saints players. What the hell do you think they're going to say?
Well, the worst was
the
worst was when Carolina lost the Super Bowl to Denver, and they wanted Cam Newton to do his interview at the same time. Well, they put Cam in an area to do his interview, right? But then, like, right in the next room, or
they were celebrating or something.
They were celebrating, and then they were interviewing somebody, and he's basically talking shit about Cam and how they knew they were going to beat him and how he was, and he was loud about it. You could hear him. So you expect Cam to sit up there. He just lost the Super Bowl. That's one. They wanted him to talk right after the Super Bowl. You can't do that. You can't. And you should have just. I, as a coach, would not want the national press or any type of press to be around my team until I'm ready, until I know my players have got it off their chest, whatever it is. You vent, you cry, you do whatever. And then I let you in. It's that simple. So, but, the NFL is all about, I hate to say it, publicity and putting it out there and raw emotion and all this other fucking shit.
I guess that's what Randy said when he came back.
About the boat?
Yeah.
He did. Yeah, oh my God. Well, first of all, they wouldn't have been on the boat. They wouldn't have been on the boat.
Yeah, but it's Randy, so,
They probably would have been in Randy's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably would have been, they would have been in Randy's. So, but yeah, that is, oh my gosh. And there's
anybody in chat have any more questions about this?
Yeah. Or any questions in general.
Yeah.
We're open to anything you want to know.
About history, or it could be current day.
Yeah.
Preferably history, but
preferably history.
I know Zoe just came in. His Vibes just came in here. What up, Vibes?
Yeah, Mike is in there too. Was in there.
But yeah, I mean, just the links for this. There's just a lot of links for this story. You would think that. I mean, you didn't really hear much about the Williams being on that boat.
No, they never. And well, what happened was they kept a select few out of the papers here. So unless you knew somebody that was there, the only ones they announced that were on that boat were really the four culprits, which were Dante, the ones that went to court, Dante, Bryant McKinney, Mo Williams, and Fred Smoot. But I knew about, they mentioned Lance because Lance helped buy the boat, but you didn't know Nate Burleson was on that boat. You didn't know the Williamses were on that boat. You didn't know Jermaine Wiggins was on that boat. They were still Vikings at the time, and even a year later, they were still Vikings. But yeah, you didn't know, especially with the Williams, they kept that really hush hush.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, they were the best players, pretty much the best players on the team.
Yep.
It's just, yeah, it's like we told you when we did this show, there would be a lot of pain like last week.
Luff's got a question. With the game coming up on Sunday, how many QBs have started for the Vikings? Oh, God, just any game? If I go any game, what, Tarkenton? That's one. Kramer.
Got to keep in mind there was a lot of crappy years,
Yeah, but the
especially with
crap,
Childress.
right? And then the only one I can think of, like Tarkin and Kramer, the obvious ones.
Quazo.
Quazza wasn't a rookie.
Oh, did he say rookie?
Yeah, rookie QBs. Um,
Rookie. Oh, Ponder.
Ponder. That's it.
Did T-Jack start as a rookie?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, T-Jack started his rookie year. Bridgewater.
Let's see. What about Salisbury and Gannon? Either one of those started as rookie?
Salisbury came from Canada. Gannon, no, he was a free agent in '87. He didn't start a game though. Yeah, that's not really a lot. Yeah, that's it. Tarkenton, Kramer, his rookie year, he started a game. Bridgewater, Ponder.
Did Culpepper start?
No,
He
no,
never
he
started
didn't
a
play.
game.
He didn't play at all his rookie year.
Okay.
Wade Wilson never played his rookie year.
What about
Tavares
Spurgeon?
did.
What about Spurgeon Wynn?
Spurgeon came from somebody else. I don't
I
think
thought the
Spurgeon-
Vikings drafted Spurgeon Wynn.
Did we?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Check that out. I don't think we did.
I think he was like
I don't think Spurgeon. I think Spurgeon came from somewhere else.
let's see. Let me see. So he was drafted by the Browns and the Vikings.
How's
He
he
was-
drafted by two teams?
Drafted by the Browns and never went to the Browns. He played for Canadian Football League, and then he was in the supplemental by the Vikings, is what it says here.
Oh, I never count the supplemental draft.
Yeah. It says Wynn was the third string between Bauman and Culpepper.
Okay.
But yeah,
Now here's a name to look up. What year was Joe Webb drafted?
yeah, because I don't that playoff game, right?
He played that game in Philadelphia on Thursday night or Tuesday night. That Tuesday night game in 2010.
He was He was the same pick as Brady, April 10th, 2010.
So he was a rookie.
So that would be Joe Webb would be another quarterback.
He's a rookie. Yeah, he was a rookie. So he played a game his rookie year. Wade didn't start a game his rookie year, which was 81. Tommy missed the first two games of 81, and then the starter then was Steve Dills. So
yeah, he made the start.
Yep.
On December 28th
against the Eagles, right?
Yep.
And then Ponder, and then
Bridgewater.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. And now Jaron Hall. So that's what, 6, 7?
I believe so. Not too many. Not too many at all.
No.
Okay, so 7 Vikings quarterbacks have made at least one start in their rookie season. Tarkington in 61, Vanderkellen in 63.
Oh, Vanderkellen. Okay. Who did Vanderkellen start against?
Kramer in 77, Jackson in 06, Webb in 2010, Ponder in 2011, Bridgewater in 2014. So that would That means Hall will be the eighth. Let me see. Vander Kellen. Let me see. 63. I'm trying to find it right here. Just say they mention him, but they don't have a link to when he started.
So it's got to be what,
60, 63. Van Kellen started one game. Let me see. Nope, he was traded. It says he started one game. Let me go back to the prior page. Let's see. It doesn't say what game he started, but I guess Tarkenton got hurt because he played 13 of the 14 games.
Oh,
that year.
Luft, which future trivia question for us? Which one? The quarterback one?
I guess I could go back to the 1963 year and find out. It'd be so much better if I had another monitor.
Oh, the rookie QBs.
Okay, let's see. And like the Vikings were 5-8-1 that year.
Yeah, they were 5-8-1 that year. Tarkenton got hurt, huh? Oh.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it doesn't say what game he started.
I could find out right now. I got a couple of books right here that would tell me.
Well, I mean, I can look at the 63 season, but I'd have to go game by game to find out which one he started.
You know what? I'll be right back, folks. I'm going to go get it.
That's the problem with Tony. Once he gets something in his crawl, he's got to go find it. He's got to, he's got to know the information that he doesn't know off the top of his hand. So yeah, you knew one of these books would come, and you knew this book.
I'm cheating, folks. So
hey, like I said, I'm the Reader's Digest of Vikings history. Tony's the encyclopedia, but sometimes you got to reference the encyclopedia.
Yeah, and I haven't read this book in years, but I use it as a reference. Trust me, it's one of many, people. So one of many. Let's see here.
See, what is the most mid-Viking QB of all time? Nah, too evil. Come on, man.
What'd he say?
He's calling Kirk Cousins the most mid quarterback of all time.
Oh, jeez.
The man's hurt. Just let him alone, man.
Okay, Vander Kellen. He started the Philadelphia game.
Okay. I think they lost that game, right?
Yeah. No. They won 34-13.
63.
Yep. On December 15th.
Let's see. Why is it? Oh, never mind.
Yep.
Oh, I know what it is. Okay. That was one of the few games that they won.
Yeah, it
was the last game of the season.
Yep, December 15th. Imagine that the season ends in December.
Franklin Field, Jesus, what a crap field that was.
Yeah, they didn't move into veterans until what, 70, 71?
72, I think Veterans Stadium was built.
Yeah,
that's where Franklin Field, that's Penn University, right?
That's Penn University. Yep. Matter of fact, you want to see how bad that field is? There's a Monday night game on YouTube. It's the Giants and the Eagles, and it's at Franklin Field. It's
well,
like,
we'll get to that. Like I said, we are going to do a show here on stadiums that the Vikings have been the home stadium for, or they've played on that were historic or non-historic stadiums.
Yeah, they were. I mean, there's some stadiums that I'm glad they don't play at anymore, like Busch Stadium, but yeah, there's some stadiums in history that are just like, that was an NFL stadium.
Yeah.
Compared to what they have out there nowadays.
always anybody else.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, there's one that's going back to sucking again, and that's the Green Bay Packers.
Yep. And the 49ers were awful until Bill Walsh got there.
Yeah, the 49ers were awful.
Eagles were awful.
Eagles were terrible at one time. They were
the
terrible.
Steelers were awful.
Yep.
Before Chuck Noll. See, there's teams that have always. Well, the Bears used to be a powerhouse.
Yeah, but they were just mid. They were like bad before Ditka got there.
Yeah. The Lions have always been bad.
Lions have always been bad. Packers are going back to being bad, which is I love it.
Baltimore has been good since they've been in the league, but they're not a traditional franchise. So the Browns used to be dominant.
The Chiefs were garbage. Yes, they were. They were garbage at one time. Yeah. Hell, Cincinnati wasn't that good. There were years where Cincinnati was terrible.
Yeah. And then let me see. Seattle used to be really bad.
Yeah.
The Saints, of course, the Saints are still kind of bad.
Yeah. Oh, the Saints are like the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah. Saints and Bucks are like the worst two teams ever.
Yeah.
Win percentage wise.
Yeah.
But they do got that.
But they got that there, but they're getting, the Saints are back to where they were. Did Brad never start? Brad didn't start his rookie year. Brad didn't play it down.
Brad Johnson?
Yeah, he didn't play it down.
I don't think he played.
No. Bono did. That's right. Bono did play in Philadelphia.
But did he start?
No, he didn't start.
Yeah,
he played.
These were ones that just started that we looked up. We didn't look up play. Brad Johnson may have played, but he may not. But I don't think he started. And we've proven PFF and PFR wrong on this show before.
You've got to take PFR with a grain of salt, them and PFF too.
Yeah. Yeah, the PFR, I looked up something from PFR.
Well, no, this is PFR, rookie QBs to start in Vikings history. They got Brad Johnson on here. Brad didn't start.
Yeah.
If he did, I'm lost. Dills did not start a game in 79. I can tell you that right now. Tommy Kramer took every start in 79. Hold on, let me go through this list. Bono never started a game in 85. He came in relief. Bob Lee did not start a game his rookie year. Who else is on there? Teddy did. Wade didn't. Wade played, but he didn't. Ponder did. But, yeah, that list is way off.
I don't think Tyler Thigpen ever started for the Vikings.
No, he didn't. So I can tell you right now who didn't start. Brad Johnson, Wade Wilson,
Steve Bono.
Steve Bono, he played, but he didn't start. Bob Lee played, but didn't start. Bob Lee was actually a punter. That's the whole thing. Steve Dills did not play his rookie year. I know for a fact Tommy Kramer took every snap except one, which you know what? Dills did play. They tried to fake a punt the last game of the year in New England. They had Dills in there to take the snap, and he handed it off, and the play didn't work. But he didn't start. He was not a starter. And Tyler Thigpen, I don't remember Tyler Thigpen ever starting.
Yeah, I don't think he ever started for the Vikings.
He never started. Yeah, he never started. Boy, PFR got that completely wrong. Jesus.
Now, Christ. We were talking rookie years. This rookie QBs to start for the Vikings, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't even have what's his name on here that we proved started in 63.
They didn't even mention Vanderkellen.
Yeah, he started in 63.
Yeah, he started
the last game of the season. That's not even on here.
Yeah, they didn't even mention Vanderkellen. But they've got all these.
See, this is why you need to come to this show, because Tony knows more than so-called experts.
I don't know who the hell these experts are. God, it's very off.
Yeah,
it's very off.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, I know for a fact Thigpen never started for us.
Yeah, Thigpen never started.
Because his first start came after. Well, I think it was when the Dolphins picked him up. Either the Dolphins or Chiefs. I can't remember who he went to after Minnesota. But
Mhm.
his first start was for the second team that he played for
Right.
after the Vikings. Because the Vikings wanted to put him on the practice squad. And he got sniped. I think it was Kansas City who
Kansas City
sniped him.
sniped him.
And
Kansas City sniped him.
he started for the Chiefs the year that
Yeah, he started for the Chiefs. He didn't
So
start
he
for the
may have
Chiefs.
started his rookie year, but it wasn't with Minnesota.
Right. Hey, can you put up Gary's post here?
Which one? He's got a
Favorite
couple.
safety. Favorite safety.
Oh, my favorite player of all time is a safety, Joey Browner.
For me, it's a toss up between Paul Krause and Joey Browner. If I'm going to have the greatest safety starting, I got Paul Krause at free safety, Joey Browner a strong safety. That's perfect. That is perfect.
Paul Krause will pick off your quarterback, and Joey Browner will hit you so hard you want to hug your mama.
Yep.
Yeah.
Frozen North, Browner or Hitman? Browner all day.
Browner all day, man. I love
Browner
Harry
all
Hitman.
day.
I love Harry Hitman, but not only would Browner hit you so hard your mama would feel it, but he was also fast.
Yeah, he was also fast and strong.
Yeah,
he was very strong. But yeah, I had Browner, big time. Too evil. Don't bring that in here. Too evil. Don't bring that.
Although him and Cousins did talk, so you know.
Bite your tongue, Kurt. Bite your tongue.
Nah, I don't think. I think that was a one-time thing. I don't think Rodgers hates the Packers. Like
Rodgers doesn't hate the Packers like Favre hated the Packers.
Rodgers hates the GM, Gutekunst.
He hates Gutekunst,
but he doesn't hate the Packers themselves. So I don't think he'll ever play for the Vikings.
He might have.
Favre hated the whole organization.
Yeah, I mean, Rodgers might have a strong dislike for LaFleur. But other than that, no. Yeah, that's true. I mean, and here's the thing: it took them how many years to make the horse collar rule?
Well, he was the one who started it.
Yeah, he ended a career,
but he wasn't. He didn't do it as bad or as often as Roy Williams, the Cowboy safety, who they did the rule after.
Right. I mean, Browner ended a career with it, though. Gerald Wilhite.
No, Wilhite wasn't that good.
Yeah, but he ended his career. It was one play, and Wilhite was going off that game, and Joey ran him down and took him down. That ended his career. He never played down.
It wasn't illegal at the time, though.
No.
So
no.
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, there was a college football game I saw this weekend. The wide receiver was going over the middle. The defensive back lowered his head so that he wouldn't get a targeting penalty.
Right.
But by the timing of it all, his top of his helmet still hit the receiver in the chest. But
was that the Colorado UCLA game?
No, he did the form tackle, wrapped his arms around his legs, tackled him to the ground, and they still called targeting.
It's to the point now where, like Luft is saying, they are targeting the hip drop tackle.
Yeah,
you can't even do that anymore. They want to outlaw that. I'm just like, you know what? Then you might as well just put flags on them. That's not football. Just put some damn flags on them.
Well, the problem with the Packers is they don't have, like, I guarantee you, if the Packers had a traditional owner, all that shit that went on with Brett Favre and Rodgers would not have went on.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Because of the way they're structured in the front office, they're really, I mean,
Mark Murphy is who he pretty much runs everything, but
right,
he would be like the third in power for all other NFL teams.
Yeah, all you people on this chat that got Packer fans that got some of that stock, ask them why the hell don't they fix their team? Guess what? They can't. They can't
because they don't have
no say so.
They go to the stockholders meeting.
Yeah. That's
just a paper
for what? Free pop and donuts?
Who knows? That's probably cheese. They probably get cheese when they go there.
It's like, God, give me a break. God. But yeah, I mean, with the Packers structure, and we talk about the Viking structure, oh my God. Oh my God, Gary. Jesus.
Yeah, the Oakland Raiders did the clothesline.
Well, you know who did it for the Vikings? It was Wally Hilgenberg. He was notorious for it. They used to call him Clothesline Wally. But yeah, he used to do it. Matter of fact, if you go on YouTube and watch the NFC Championship game in '76, he literally clotheslines Pat Hayden in the fourth quarter. It was. I'm just like, oh God, that's illegal today.
Oh yeah, a lot of things are illegal. I mean, it's like this sport has gotten so soft.
It is. It's getting worse now.
I know we probably sound like old man yelling at the crowd, yelling at the clouds, get off my lawn, but it's not nothing like what it used to be.
You can't play defense anymore.
Right. I understand taking some of it out. I get that, but
yeah, but here's the thing: you can't play defense anymore. You're going to get flagged for pass interference. Oh God, I love the head slap. I loved it. I love the head slap. Yes. I mean, when they took that out of football, I was like, oh damn. Well,
wasn't that Charles Haley?
No, that was Carl Eller and Deacon Jones.
Oh, Deacon Jones, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, Harvey Martin was too, and then they got rid of the head slap. But so players managed to work around it, but yeah, I mean, they changed how you can block at the line of scrimmage. That little box area they call it.
Yeah.
You can be held. It's legal.
Yeah.
It's just you can't play defense anymore. You're just basically window dressing. What play do you guys think the NFL should not have banned? I think choking till the count of 5 should still be in the game. What game were you watching, too, Ethan? Damn.
Gary, you're never offensive, buddy. We appreciate you so much, man.
No, not offensive at all. Only play I can think of, only thing I can think of that they should not have banned. Should not have banned. Wow. I'm just going to say it. Jumping on the back of players to block kicks. I'm just going to say that. They did that for safety. That was one of the things that, they should have just left that alone. I know right now they can get rid of that whole Philadelphia play thing that they use, that whole scrum that they use.
The tush push?
Yeah, they need to do something about that. There's things they can work on. It used to be illegal to help the runner. Now it's not. And so now you're seeing it a lot, which they need to bring that back.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, when the running back's got 3 guys on him, eating offensive line.
Yeah, and then here comes the offensive line pushing them forward.
Yeah.
That's going to cause more injuries than anything.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I kind of understand them taking out some plays, but I mean,
my whole thing is let the defense play.
Yeah, I mean,
you've got the defense out there. Let the defense play too.
Not like what it used to be, like where you could pretty much mug the wide receiver all the way down the field. That I understand, but it's gotten way too offensive nowadays. The offense gets away with way too much. They're allowed to do way too much. The tackles are allowed to leave early
because the NFL wants more points on the board. And by the way, Gamer, yeah, they're trying to get rid of the kickoffs. Put it this way. When you've got a kick returner and he catches a ball at the 5-yard line and downs it, and they still get the ball at the 25-yard line, to me, that's bullshit.
Well, I think the XFL, or was it the USFL?
AAF.
They had
the AAF started the ball at the 20.
Right, but no, the XFL. I think it's the XFL. They have, to me, that's the perfect. If you want to stop causing injuries, that's the perfect way. You can't leave just like on a punt. You can't leave until the ball's kicked, and you're separated. Both lines are separated by 10 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's still a kickoff, But yeah, this whole thing about, especially in college football, you catch the ball at the 10, you get it at the 25.
Here's the problem with football. Period. They're putting too much spotlight on quarterbacks and wide receivers. They basically took the running back, what used to be the running sport, they've devalued and took the running back out of the game, period.
Yeah.
And that's just too much. These players are putting up, they made the rules, so these players are putting up these passing numbers are putting up. They're just god awful. I mean, they're putting up all these numbers because guess what? You can't play defense anymore. You just can't. You know. Speaking of which, I did not know this. The Vikings have the 11th ranked defense.
Yeah, their defense is pretty good this year.
Brian Flores has done exceptional with nothing.
So they went from 32nd to 11th.
They're 11th right now. 11th. And they've still got how many games left, but they're 11th.
That's why people are saying, and the quarterbacks they're playing aren't going to do much.
Right. So be prepared, folks. We might lose our defense coordinator at the end of the year. So I'm just going to put that out there. But yeah.
So do you think they stick with Jaron Hall? Do you think, because Jaron Hall's starting this week?
Right.
Do you think, because Nick Mullins comes off IR and they also have Dobbs, so they have three options next
Mullins'
week.
injury is worse than they let on. That's why they got Dobbs. His injury is worse than they let on. Depending on how they do this week, I think win or lose. If Hall looks good either way around, I think they stick with him. He's a rookie, so you got to be patient.
Yeah. And do you think the chances of them signing Cousins for re-signing Cousins goes up now that he's hurt? Because he'll be cheaper now that he's hurt.
Gamer, when I say this defense had nothing, they literally had nothing outside of Harrison Smith and Daniil Hunter. This defense had nothing. I mean, if you were expecting Lowry to come in and play Duke, which he hasn't, he's a waste of space. If you expected Lowry, Bullard, Phillips, Hicks, if you expected these young corners to be ranked 11th defensively, I said if they had made 20th, they would have been doing great. These guys are 11th. And it's only one. And if I'm getting ready for, if I'm like an offensive coordinator and I'm having to, put a game plan for the Viking defense before the season, the only player that worries me is Daniil Hunter and Harrison Smith. That's it. Now, with the way that defense is playing, by the way, rookie Ivan Pace Jr. is the highest ranked rookie linebacker out there in the league right now, according to Pro Football Focus. So, Brian Flores has done a miracle with where this defense was last year.
And they don't have very many free agents that matter.
They got a bunch of guys on 1-year deals.
So, I mean, they'll probably re-sign Hunter. I think they re-sign Hunter and want him. If Flores stays, I think they want him.
If Flores stays, depending on what they do with Hunter, but also teams have to put the feelers out there to give Flores an interview. Now, the fact that he's got that lawsuit could deter teams. But I think let's look at Raiders, depending on what Antonio Pierce does. Raiders already
took them. People were saying that yesterday. I saw some reports. Or like, I seen some Raider people on YouTube. They're like, man, the Raiders are so bad they can't even fire a coach right. Why the hell do you wait to after the trade deadline to fire your coach and your GM? Because you could have got rid of your coach, you could have got rid of your GM, and you could have traded Devontae Adams.
Mark Davis is not his dad. Let's just put it that way. Mark Davis is not his dad. Because
I don't know what they're going to get at Devontae the rest of the year. He does not want to be there.
Devontae may play now for Antonio Pierce. He could. I think the problem
I don't think he likes his quarterback, though.
He's got a new quarterback. It's going to be, I don't even know the guy, Aiden O'Connell is going to be the new quarterback. It's not Hoyer. We know that much. It's going to be Aiden O'Connell, his new quarterback.
The rookie, right?
Yep, Aiden O'Connell. So, it's just, put it this way. That game on Monday, Garoppolo was just, when he knew he was going to get hit, he would just curl up in a fetal position to make sure it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
That's just how bad he was.
Garoppolo's on IR, or did they release him?
Who?
Garoppolo.
No, Garoppolo's still playing. Garoppolo played Monday night against
I thought I
Detroit.
saw something today about him being placed on IR or release or something for the Raiders.
No, if he's going to be anything, it would be on IR. But yeah, he played Monday night. Yeah, he played Monday night. So I mean,
I didn't watch Monday night's game because I don't like.
he didn't miss much. There was that one moment where Goff threw the interception to Peters and it went for a touchdown. That you were kind of like, well, the Lions are going to do Lions things and lose this game. They did.
I was just still kind of down, because I know a lot of people don't like Cousins, but people are going to see how good he really was when it comes to.
Okay, I'm going to put this out there, and I'm going to piss off a lot of people, and I don't care. Injuries are a part of football.
Yep.
Kirk Cousins got hurt.
Yep.
Kirk Cousins was a free agent at the end of the year. Guess what, folks? Your favorite player is going to leave eventually.
Yep.
Life goes on.
Right.
Okay, guess what? Kirk stays. You guys keep winning. Guess what? We ain't getting a damn quarterback. We're not getting a quarterback for the future. Matter of fact, they will repay Cousins and extend him more guaranteed money to kick down the road and put us in more friggin' salary cap hell.
He might be cheaper because he's hurt now.
He should be cheaper. So when I hear this, I've heard people put out there, give Cousins 2 years, $60 million guaranteed. Don't give him any guaranteed money.
No, because now the one thing you could always guarantee for him was him staying healthy. Well, he can't. Right.
He has no leverage. Anymore. He has no leverage now for guaranteed money.
And keep in mind, if he signs that 2 year, $30 million contract fully guaranteed, it's not just the $30 million that's on the salary cap. He's still got the old money on the salary cap, so it's going to the cap hit's going to be like $45 million.
So, hey, do me a favor, put Frozen North's comment up here. Speaking of Davis, not that one. It's farther down. That one. Do we sympathize with the most because their team ownership and our management are eternal good? Oh God. Honestly, with the Raiders recently. So the Raiders are just like a fall from grace from what they were.
Yeah.
They're just not the team. That Raiders, the silver and black don't strike fear in nobody no more. Put it that way. Yeah. I gotta go Washington.
Yeah. I like the idea, Young, but Kirk Cousins will never take $10 million.
No. But see, here's the thing now. Here's the thing. Kirk now. The only team that was going to give Kirk any kind of money that he wanted would have been the Vikings. No NFL team is going to pay Kirk Cousins.
Right.
So, healthy or not, his only option was signing with the Vikings, if he's going to sign at all. But here's the thing. He's coming back from an Achilles injury. From one person who has tore their Achilles, it sucks. And it's more of a mental thing than anything. Physically, you're still worried. You're still kind of like, it fucks with your head, put it that way. And Kirk will be 36. He's coming off a major injury. Kirk has enough money now. Kirk may retire. He may say, you know what? I had a good run. I'm done.
Who was I watching today? Oh, if you watched the presser with KOC, Kirk Cousins is already talking about next year's OTA, so I don't think he's retired.
Yeah. Gamer, the Jets, Kirk won't go to the Jets because he will not go to the East Coast press.
Yeah.
He will not deal with the East Coast press. And what's his name is not going to take him because Poles wanted to cut him. If Poles was going to come to the Vikings, he would have cut Cousins. So he's not going to the Bears. Now, there's a rumor that Jim Harbaugh could be the Bears' next head coach. So, damn well he's not going to sign Cousins either.
Yeah.
So the only team that could possibly take Kirk is Atlanta because his wife is from Atlanta. Kirk's wife is from Atlanta.
And they who knows how good they'll be with a quarterback.
Right. I mean, if they're already going now to Taylor Heineke,
right,
they're going to be looking for a quarterback.
I think that they re-sign Cousins.
I think they do too, but for me, do not give him guaranteed money. You can
So,
re-sign him. Do
yeah.
not give him guaranteed money.
I think it's more. I think it's going to be more the 2-year, 50 million, 55 million around there.
Right.
That way, which people shouldn't have a problem with, because that you still have enough money to spend to build a team around him. And would you build a team around it with the way he was playing the last 4 weeks? He was a top 5 quarterback by the way he was playing. So if that's the Kirk Cousins we get at 25 million and you build around him, this team's going to be very, very, very good. But it's Cousins, so we don't know if he will go back to that. And I don't think the Achilles injury is going to be an injury that really affects Cousins because he's not a runner anyway.
It'll affect him just by planting. That's the problem. Just by planting. Like for me, it was me getting off the line, like planting my foot, making sudden movement. And the way I did it was I got hurt playing on the Metrodome surface. My body moved, but my foot stayed on the turf. And when it ripped, when I tore it, it hurt like a son of a bitch. And it took me 2 years to even think about running full speed again. I was just jogging, but yet it was in the back of my mind. And I still have my days now, even when I played, that I felt it. So in the back of your mind, it's still there.
Have they won anything since the Ford bought
Who's that?
Detroit.
Detroit ain't won anything since the 50s.
Well, I'm saying, how long has the Ford family owned them?
Since the 50s. They've always owned it. Yeah, they've always owned it. Since it's been in Detroit, the Ford family's always owned it.
Okay, so I didn't know if they took over after they won the championships. And
it's always been part of the Ford family. Yep, it's part of the William Clay Ford family. Yeah,
I wouldn't go that far. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, Kirk's got, my God, Kirk has 28 million dead cap money next year too.
Yeah, 28.3 million in dead cap space for 2024. Yep.
So naturally, yeah, you would bring him back just for that. But you know what? Bring him back. But do not, and I repeat, do not give him guaranteed money. Do not.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Kirk has no bargaining leverage now with that injury.
Yeah.
The ball is in the Vikings' court. The Vikings can say, here's what we're giving you, Kirk. Take it or leave it. Bottom line.
Yeah, but usually when if his Achilles heel, like, because they had a doctor on. I don't know if it was NBC Sports or it was one of the NFL stations. And they were talking about the Achilles injury because Rodgers also has it. So they were talking about it. Now, it's a talker now that 2 quarterbacks have the same injury. Injury's been around for years, but now they decided to talk about it. He was saying that for running quarterbacks, like someone like Lamar Jackson or someone like that, Achilles injury would almost be career ending because you have to. It's the way they run and everything like that. He's like, with a non-running quarterback who stays in the pocket most of the time, because it really doesn't change much. Once they get the confidence that they can plan again, they should be fine. And he's saying this injury might affect Rodgers a little bit more than Cousins because Rodgers runs a little bit more, but Rodgers doesn't run like he used to. So he was saying that once they get the confidence that they back in the Achilles, it should not affect them type of quarterbacks as much as say, like a Lamar Jackson or a Jalen Hurts. But they also said this is an injury that people who are over the age of 30 will suffer more than young guys.
Yeah, you can possibly re-tear it.
Because the young guys haven't built up the scarring and the issues with the Achilles that the old guys have. So a torn Achilles is not an instant injury. It's built up over time, and it just takes that final push for it to snap. So that's why it's an older player injury 99% of the time. Sometimes it does just snap, it'll be a freak incident, like a cleat will hit it or something like that, and it will snap. But when it's a non-contact and it just snaps like Rodgers and Cousins does, it's built up over time.
Yeah.
So That's what he was saying. So I don't know if that's he's a doctor, so I'm not gonna question what he said, but that's what he was saying. So
And what's the name came back from his at the most part and looks good, Brian O'Neill.
yeah,
So he looks pretty good.
yeah,
Frozen North, no. What I'm saying is it would be a Minnesota Viking thing to do to give Kirk guaranteed money and no trade. But here's the thing: Kirk doesn't have any bargaining power. He has none with an injury, none whatsoever. So basically, for the Vikings to get that
yeah,
28.3 mil off the books, the Vikings need to just say, "This is what we're giving you, Kirk. No guarantee. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it." Here's the thing: Kirk can retire and still get paid. They'll still have to pay the 28 because they're still on the books for it. So I mean, Kirk could play hardball and say, "Well, then I'm just going to retire."
yeah. I don't
It
think he will though.
depends
I
on how
don't.
he heals. Depends on how he heals.
It depends on how he heals. It depends. I'm sure the Vikings will say, "Listen, you said you wanted to end your career as a Viking. We want you to end your career as a Viking, but we're not going to pay you what you got paid
Yeah,
last time.
we're
You're
not
coming off of
giving.
an injury.
Yeah,
We still think you're the guy, but the one thing you always had was reliability. You no longer have that, so we have to work something out. And if you want this team to get better, we need to build. We also need to build. We need to bring more players in. So I'm thinking, 27, 20, somewhere around there, but you don't guarantee it.
no
You know?
guarantee. Here's another
Yeah.
thing too. Now, what if Hall comes in and balls out?
Then it's bye bye Kirk.
Then it's bye Kirk.
Yeah.
If Hall comes in and say Hall is efficient, nothing spectacular, but he's efficient and he wins, KOC's got his young quarterback.
Yep.
And it's somebody that he drafted.
It is somebody he wanted to.
And it's somebody that he wanted. So guess what? Kirk,
Then,
you know what? You give Kirk, you put that offer on the table for Kirk.
Yeah.
And it's still take it or leave it, no guaranteed money. Kirk has no bargaining power. His getting hurt took away every bit of power he had. If he had stayed healthy this year, he could have demanded a king's ransom from the Vikings next year or any other team that was willing to pay it. But the only team that would pay it would be the Vikings. And the Wilfs would be so scared of change, they would do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had a partial tear, but even a partial tear is a bitch. Excuse my language. It's a bitch. It still psychologically can screw with you.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Bob. But Jared Hall may not have the same arm strength as Cousins, but
right.
NFL has been proven that you don't necessarily have to have the best arm strength to win.
And Kirk's talent, to be honest,
Peyton Manning didn't have the strongest arm.
No, Kirk's talent is one thing, but you're going to find out Jared Hall's going to do some things Kirk can't do.
Like run.
When
it's 3rd and 3 and there's a hole and he can get 4 yards, Jared Hall is going to run.
Right. He can run. And Jared is...
Did you watch his interview?
Jaren's?
Yeah.
I heard it.
He does not sound like a rookie.
No, he's 26-year-old.
He's already got the quarterback professional speak down.
He's a 26-year-old grown-ass man.
Married with a kid, I know, but still.
Married with a kid. He's a Mormon.
So,
I mean,
this is funny. My sister-in-law has a family next to them, and they're Mormon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then finally, my sister-in-law told my wife their real last name last night, and my wife was like, "Oh, I thought Mormons was their last name because you always say the Mormons."
Oh my god!
I love my wife and dad, but sometimes it's just like, really, babe?
Yeah, matter of fact, Jaron didn't play ball because he had to go do that.
The Mormon mission thing.
The Mormon mission thing.
Yeah.
So he had to do that.
Those guys come here. I mean, I have mad respect for those guys, man. I mean, I may not agree with the religion. I may not,
Well, here's a kicker though. Jaron's playing on Sundays. Their whole religion is like you don't. There was one guy that the Raiders drafted years ago, Eli Herring. They made it. He played at Brigham
Yeah.
Young. Al Davis was so sure he was going to get him. He already told the NFL teams, "I'm not playing on Sundays because of my religion." Al Davis was so sure he was going to get him to play on Sundays. Guess who never played it down in the NFL, and the Raiders got burned with the number 1 draft pick.
Well, if the great grandson of Brigham Young himself plays on Sundays, then maybe other people should be able to play on Sundays.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
You
if
know.
Steve Young is playing on Sundays, for those who don't know, he is the great grandson.
He's a great
Brigham
grandson.
Young.
Yep.
If he plays on Sundays, then that whole "I ain't playing on Sundays" kind of goes out the window.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, I mean, it was, but put it this way, we now have 2 brainiacs at the court. We have the smartest quarterbacks in all of NFL because Dobbs is he's like a rocket scientist. He has super Mormon powers. He's not that tall, but he can levitate. God.
I love this chat, man. I love this chat so much. Oh, jeez.
So he could ball out on Sunday. He's not playing like top tier teams. He's playing basically teams that are the same.
The only
level as
team
the
that
Vikings.
scares me right now is Cincinnati with how they played Sunday.
Yeah, and that's after the bye.
So
That's after the bye, and that's in December, so anything's liable to happen. But the only thing Cincinnati got going for him is offense. That defense is very average. And when I say average, it's very average. So, anything's possible. We'll see what happens. That's all we can do.
We don't know because he could be this year's Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is struggling now, but last year he didn't, and people didn't have very much tape on him. So
no,
people have no tape on Jaron Hall. So
that's the whole thing. It's like,
and I think the tackles will learn that play where he was strip sacked. The tackles were setting as if Kirk was still their quarterback. I think the tackles will adjust.
Well, and you know who I blame? You know who I blame for that? I blame KOC. Why the hell are you throwing? Why the hell are you throwing? That our biggest downfall could be KOC and his play calling. Yeah, he is. Dobbs is a rocket scientist. Yes, he is. So we got like the smartest quarterbacks probably in all of football right now in the quarterback room.
Well, Ponder was smart though. Ponder had a really high IQ, and he was I can't remember what he.
Oh, because he passed a litmus test.
No, he.
He was
a lot of people didn't take Ponder because they don't want their football players to be too smart. It goes back to that whole thing. So Ponder, that's why he was dropped, because Ponder was
so
smart.
the brain. So Ponder had more brains and talent.
But Josh Dobbs has got talent though.
Yeah, Dobbs beat the Cowboys.
Yeah,
he lit up the damn Cowboys this year. So, by the way, who's playing quarterback for the Cardinals now?
They got some rookie playing, but I think Murray comes back next week. They got some rookie playing.
Did you hear they're being investigated now?
The Cardinals?
Cardinal organization.
What?
For basically the same crap that was going on with the damn Washington franchise. Now they're going after the Bidwills.
The Bidwills have owned the Cardinals since they've been a franchise.
I know. Yeah, they're going after the Bidwills now. Yep, they are going after the Bidwills. So, okay, for the people in the chat, what should be our next topic on the vintage? What would you like us to talk about? Which part of Viking history would you like us to talk about? Kind of curious.
And for those, Clayton Tune's going to be starting for the Cardinals.
Who?
He's a rookie quarterback, Clayton Tune.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Gamer, you know what? What happens is now, this has probably been going on for years, but now there are people that are willing to put it in the spotlight and talk about it. You can thank Daniel Snyder for that, because he threatened to out a bunch of organizations. This could be Snyder doing this crap too. You know, he threatened out a bunch of owners when he left. He did. That's why he didn't want to give up the team. But it could be Snyder.
That would have happened a long time ago, North.
Oh God, yeah.
They are the NFL's oldest franchise, and they only have 3 championships ever.
Yeah. And they've moved 3 different times.
Yeah.
You know, so
they went from Chicago to St. Louis to Arizona.
Yeah. So I mean, God, it's oh my God.
Yeah. They've never been good, ever. Yeah. Well, so the first show for those who haven't been with us since we started, our very first show was how the Vikings became a franchise and their inaugural year. So we talked about that, and then we did a front office show. The front office executives, Max Winters, Jim Finks, all the. Then we did coaches. The Vikings have only had 11 coaches. We did that. We have not done particular seasons yet. Then we talked about the 4 Super Bowls. That was last week's show. We did the Love Boat this week. I think I'm missing one.
We did the first round draft picks.
We did first round draft picks. That was a topic that Sarah gave us.
Yeah.
So we do shows that you guys give us suggestions.
Hey, can you bring up Gamer's comment here? The crazy one.
Let me see. Why are there so many scandals? That one?
No, the one crazy about the Ravens. Crazy that the Ravens.
Oh,
that one.
Okay.
The Ravens were an expansion team. They were the Cleveland Browns. Literally the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
In 1995. They moved the franchise to Baltimore, but they kept the play. They just changed the name. But everything went to Baltimore except the name. So they weren't an expansion franchise. And I don't believe they considered the Browns an expansion franchise either. They just came back. But yeah, they were an expansion franchise.
Yeah, they moved
some.
Yeah.
Good Lord, Gary. Oh my God. The 69 team, we did the Super Bowls.
Yeah.
The Hall of Famers, we did the Hall of Famers, didn't we?
We did do Hall of Famers. That's right. That's another show.
We did do Hall of Famers.
So the inaugural season, Super Bowls, coaches, Hall of Famers, first round draft picks, Vikings Love Boat, and then the other 2 I mentioned.
Right. We did the coaches. We did the general manager. We rated the coaches. How did we rate the coaches?
Yeah.
We did the ownership.
Our front office ownership was the one. Yeah. So we've done a lot because this is week. This is 8. This is our. So this is the 9th week. This is our 9th show. So we started week 1.
Right. We are going to do the Super Bowl teams. We are.
We just did the Super Bowl.
We just talked about the Super Bowl games,
God,
but we are going to talk about the Super Bowl.
That was so painful.
Yeah. This team's had a lot of close teams. I mean, but yeah. Worst trade, best trade. We got a lot of topics.
Yeah, we have a lot of topics. The Hall of Famers we did a couple weeks ago. I think we did. We did the Hall of Famers, and then we did the Super Bowls, and then we did the Love Boat. And we did the first round picks before the Hall of Famers.
Yeah, worst is easy.
Well, the worst trade is easy. That's the Herschel Walker trade.
When we did the number ones, that was kind of a worst and who was good. We had some pretty bad ones on there. Anyone who's ever heard of football knows the word. Oh God, yes. I don't want to talk about that trade, but we're gonna have to, and how it set us back 2 or 3 years.
The Stephon Diggs trade is looking pretty good though.
Yeah. But that, I'm just gonna say it. The Herschel Walker trade. Oh my God, the amount of The amount of stuff that we gave up for that was just unfreaking believable.
At least we can have a hottest cheerleader conversation. There's teams in the NFL that can't even have that.
True.
Because,
That's
the
true.
Packers don't have cheerleaders because they can't find any women with teeth. So.
Oh my! I was shocked to find out the Lions have cheerleaders.
Well, what was it? The Steelers and the Packers don't have cheerleaders.
Right.
I don't think the Browns do.
No.
So, and I think I don't think the Giants don't have cheerleaders. The Giants don't have cheerleaders.
Giants don't have them. I don't think the Jets have them.
I think the Jets have them. The Giants don't.
Giants don't have them.
Yeah. So I think there's one more team that doesn't have cheerleaders.
The Bears.
Yeah.
Yep, the Bears.
Yeah.
No Bears.
So we could probably. We kind of did spend a show on the Walker trade because we talked about Mike Lynn when we talked about the Vikings front office. We could probably, we could definitely do a show just on the trades. Off season one would be we already did draft picks, so off season one might be best free agents that the Vikings have signed. We also have the stadium show. The reason we're talking about the stadium is because since the Vikings have moved indoors, how they really haven't done anything since they moved indoors.
They've lost their edge.
So that's why that show is important, not just because, people are like, oh, stadium. Well, that's the reason why that's stadiums. The 49ers have men cheerleaders.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, the women got to look like eye candy too.
Oh my God. We talked about that.
Yeah, we actually played it on this show.
We played it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually played. I forgot.
And they won.
How funny it was.
And they won. That was the best thing about it and they won.
Yeah. Yeah, they won that game, and he went off like,
Reminds me of what's his name from the Bucks, McKay.
Oh God, yeah.
What do you think about your team's execution? I'm in favor of it. I mean, you have to be that way to be the Bucks coach back then. They were so bad.
Oh, he had the worst teams. He did. And then to think about it, 3 years, what was it? 3 years later, he's in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, with Leroy Selman.
Yeah, with Leroy Selman, Doug Williams, Ricky Bell, and they lose 9-0?
Yeah.
To the Rams. My God. I mean, he put it together, but then they had their years where they would fluctuate back and forth.
Yeah, James Wilder is still their all-time leading rusher.
It's not all stat.
Yeah, it's not all stat. It's not done.
It's James not all stat. It's not Warwick Dunn. It's friggin' Wilder.
James Wilder. Yeah. Good old number 40.
Well, wait, what number was Wilder? 32. Wilder was 32. All-stat was 40.
Yeah. Yep. I remember that Dayglow orange uniform with the red. They need to bring those uniforms back.
Oh, the creamsicle?
Yeah. Tennessee needs to bring back the Oiler colors.
Yep.
So, So, like I said, we can always you put the comments in the chat if you guys have an idea later that you want us to talk about. We have so many ideas. We can talk about individual players, like the players who have their numbers retired. We can do that. There's a lot of stuff that we could talk to. Like we didn't even think about doing first round draft picks until Sarah brought that up.
Right.
So we will do a show that you guys. I don't know what's frozen in that I'm talking about.
Talking about Bernsey.
Probably. Oh, okay. I get it. Frozen now. Talking about. Sorry, Gary. I mean, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get it now. Yeah. So the show's here for you guys. Anyone has a Bud Grant garage? So I'd love to hear. I don't live in Minnesota, so I never went to a.
Oh my God!
A Bud Grant yard
sale.
It's
a wonder he had one every year up until he passed away, and he just had more and more stuff. I'm like, how much stuff did this man have? I'm like, but yeah, they were just one of those fun times you could talk to them. Bud was very personable, especially in his older years. Yeah, I'm gonna miss that guy. I'm gonna miss him big time.
Yeah, left. That was the idea. It wasn't just Viking stadiums. It was historic stadiums. They played in like
Mhm.
the Franklin Field against the Eagles, and you know, uh,
I mean, back in the day,
I don't think they played at Wrigley. I think Bears
yes, they
were out of
did.
Wrigley.
Yes, they did.
Okay,
They played at Wrigley. The Bears were at Wrigley up until 1971.
okay. I wasn't. I knew the Bears moved from Wrigley to Soldier Field. I just
Yeah, they
wasn't
moved in
sure when they
71.
moved.
Yep, they moved in
So
71. They played at all the stadiums, including the Astrodome, including Three Rivers, Riverfront,
yeah,
the Orange
so
Bowl.
some of them stadiums are nasty.
Yeah, the old Tulane Stadium, which was our house of horrors.
Yeah, I went to the Orange Bowl a lot. The Orange Bowl wasn't that bad. It had a great view.
Right.
Um, but yeah, pretty much the Vikings have sucked since they've gone indoors.
Yeah, they've been average. They've had their moments, but they're not the same. The mystique is gone. The mystique that those outdoor teams is gone.
Well, yeah, Gary, we did just the first round picks. Um, so if I don't know what the best I one drafted Viking or I drafted by, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. If you mean just the best Viking picks in general, whether they're first, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh, or
The best
13th or
draft
14th,
choices, God, you could
13th or 14th back in the day. But we did do the first round draft picks. The Vikings have had relatively good success with their first round picks.
Yeah,
I think
they've
I
actually
think
been
we came up.
successful
I think we came up with what 5 busts
at
because
the most.
we
Yes,
put Booth as a bust and we put Scene as a bust.
I got seen as a bust right now.
Yeah,
Gladney as a bust, unfortunately.
yeah. And then Williamson
Troy Williamson,
and
Leo Hayden,
Layden was probably the
um,
biggest bust of all time, and Demetrius Underwood.
yeah, and Demetrius Underwood.
That's pretty much it.
Yep. Everybody else. I mean, and then there were those that didn't even play as Vikings, or those that did.
Right, right. And we're not. And it was what we consider a bust. We're not talking about somebody who had an average NFL career for 3 or 4 years. We're not considering those type of people busts because there were some of those. We're considering like bust, like Williamson is a bust, and like Lewis Sheen hasn't seen the field yet. Stuff
Underwood.
and Underwood, yeah, stuff like that. And Leo Hayden was probably the worst of them all.
Yeah,
But those are the type of busts. We're not talking like somebody who played 4 or 5 years for Minnesota, even though he may not have been a starter his whole time, but he had an average.
if he was with us for 4 or 5 years, he was serviceable.
Yeah, so that we don't consider those players busts.
Right, he was serviceable.
Yeah, see, you know what? Maybe we should do the stadium next one because like Frozen's talking about.
No, undrafted. That's what Gary meant.
Well, we kind of hit on that too. On the Hall of Fame, when we talked about the Hall of Famers, we kind of talked about that too.
We got 2. I mean, you could take
two of them.
Pick between Tinglehoff and John Randall.
Yeah.
That's it's with, and they both made the Hall of Fame, and they were both on the line of scrimmage.
Robert Griffith was another good undrafted free agent.
Robert wasn't great. Jeff Christie was not drafted.
Yep. And then Pace now.
Yep.
I
don't know if Dave Osborne was drafted. Bill Brown was not.
Yeah.
Bill Brown was not. Bill Brown was actually with the Bears in 61. And George Halas hated losing him to the Vikings. He always said he did. He hated losing him to the Vikings.
Yeah, so the Vikings have had good undrafted players. I don't know I don't know if we compare that to other teams where they would rank. I imagine it's probably pretty high to have 2 undrafted players be Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that's probably, if not the top in the NFL, it's got to be pretty up there, high up there.
It is. So yeah, those are the first 2 that come to mind. I mean, there's others.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, no, yes, I'm saying, Dave. That, like I said, when we're talking about stadiums, the stadium show, it's not just the Vikings have played in these 4 stadiums and that's it. No, it's the stadiums they've played in when they were coming up through the ranks, the old traditional stadiums.
where they were going to go,
where they were going to where they're not going to move. I don't think they were ever seriously going to move. But the stadium. I remember the double dome design. That they were talking about having the Twins would have their own dome stadium and the Vikings would have their own dome stadium.
Yep.
So I remember that design. I like the design of the stadium now. I think they got it right. But
the Metrodome was built on a cheap.
Yep.
And it was designed like all the other ones, but I mean, the Metrodome deflated. Hell, it deflated its first 2 years it was up. It even deflated a week before a game. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to do some major research on that.
I can't tell you this much about the Metrodome. Former GM Mike Lynn made money off the suites until the day he died. And he died. The Vikings were done at the Dome in 2013. Mike Lynn passed away in 2012, so he was making money on the Metrodome suites until the day he died. Don't ask me how he got that into the contract or anything like that. I have no idea.
He was kind of a dick, but he was a smart man.
Yeah, he was. Well, he was a big time dick. A lot of the former players didn't like him. They thought he was an a-hole. And I mean, the ones that were the ones that had Jim Finks and Mike Lynn,
yeah,
they hated Mike Lynn. Ed White hates Mike Lynn. Chuck Foreman hates Mike Lynn.
So the stadium show may not be this week because it seems like I might have to do a lot of research on that. So we may hold that off. That might be an off-season one with all the research I'm probably going to do on that.
We'll surprise you with something next week.
Yeah, we'll definitely surprise you unless somebody comes up with an idea in the chat later that's better than what we come up with. We'll definitely come up with one.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't remember this. Maybe you do, Tony.
Yeah, there was talk of that because Apple Valley wasn't developed. There was a ton of land in the Twin Cities that was undeveloped. So they had talked Apple Valley, they had talked Burnsville, they talked Shakopee. There was talk of them playing like in Mounds View, where an old used to be. There's at that time the land wasn't developed. So yeah, they were going to play everywhere, but somehow both times they ended up in downtown Minneapolis.
I mean, I remember the old military site where they were planning on building a new stadium.
That was the one. Yeah, that was the old ammunitions plant.
Yeah,
in off of Highway 10 in Mounds View.
Yeah.
What happened was the government still owns the property, and they said the cleanup would be a bitch. So, but they kind of used that. They were going to put that. It was either there. They wanted to put it in Blaine and all these other places, but that team was going back to Minneapolis. They want to have everything central as far as entertainment goes. Yeah, and they wanted to put it in Shakopee near the racetrack. So there's that. I think one of the Indian-owned one of the casinos was going to help put a stadium together in Shakopee or something like that. They was going to get help from one of the tribes. But yeah, there was. But yes, it always ended up in back in Minneapolis.
Arden Hills, that's what it was.
Arden Hills, that's where it is.
Thank you, President.
Arden Hills, but it was always going to end up in. It was always going to Minneapolis. It wasn't. They want everything to be entertainment front and center in Minneapolis, and this was before the pandemic. So, but yeah, I mean, if it was up to me, they should have just put it back in at Bloomington where the Met Stadium site was instead of that Mall of America.
Well, I was going to say there's kind of a big building there now.
Yeah, they can tear that down. Here's the thing: they don't even have. They don't have it. I mean, the stores in there are closing up left and right, and have been since the pandemic. So, idea best non-head coordinator coaches. We could,
that's a good one.
Yeah, best assistant.
And how
coaches.
many of those have left to become coaches elsewhere? And one, Dungy, Tomlin,
Billick,
Carroll.
Yeah,
Pete Carroll was the Vikings coach. People.
Yeah, he was our defensive backs coach. Bud brought him in as a defensive backs coach. And then he stayed for a while, and he actually got a head coaching job with the Jets in '90s. So they knew he was going to be a head coach. He just had it. So
I think a lot of people won't know that one, but
that's well, we'll figure out something for next week, folks.
Yeah,
might come up with some ideas.
Gary, are you talking about Keenan McCardell?
McCardell's the only one.
No, that he was.
I'm telling you right now, folks, and I'll leave you on this note because I got to get going here. Brian Flores is going to get some looks for head coach, even with the lawsuit.
Some owners won't care about the lawsuit.
Yeah, they won't care about the lawsuit. What'll happen is, and this could happen, in order for him to get the HC job, he's probably going to have to drop his lawsuit. That's probably what's going to happen. And they're going to put that out there. But he's a strong – I mean, he's taken the 31st defense and made them – they are up now 20 spots. They're now 11th.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a job without marquee players. You know, outside of Smith and outside of Daniil Hunter. That's a hell of a job for any coordinator to make that great of a jump in 1 year. It's not even – the year's not even over yet. But just halfway through the season. So he's going to –
another lawsuit to look out for is the Gruden lawsuit. A lot of stuff's going to come out with that one.
That Gruden one's going to expose the NFL. That could be the one that changes the NFL. When is that Gruden lawsuit going to – have they said when his trial date is?
Let me see if I can look it up real quick.
Because that's the one the NFL tried to get tossed, and it's going to go forward. And they tried like hell to get it tossed.
Yeah.
Best hits ever by Vikes DBs. Oh my God, I remember a few. I know a few of those.
Just load up with Joey Brunner highlight film.
Yeah, well, Carl Kasulki too.
Yeah,
Carl Kasulki too.
So this was from October 12th. It just doesn't say when.
Doesn't say when, so it's going to be. And the NFL's trying to settle that.
It just says soon.
Yeah, the NFL. He wants to get back in the NFL.
November 7th, oral arguments begin.
What's today?
Today's the 1st.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah, the NFL wants the state to revert. Okay, so this is a reversal of to dismiss it. This is the Supreme Court of Nevada. This is for dismissal. So the NFL appealed the decision.
Oh, they appealed the decision.
So now this is the Supreme Court to have it thrown out. But
that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
You think the Supreme Court's going to throw it out?
No, I think it'll go forward.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of redacted stuff. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, it's a black eye on the NFL. It's a big black eye on the NFL, and you know who could get called for that? Here's the whole and with Flores, Flores could drop his lawsuit. I don't know if he will, but it's hard to say. But hey, I got to get out of here, folks.
Well, Gary, to answer your question, Troy Williamson, without a doubt.
Troy Williamson. No, worst drop pass ever. Darren Nelson in the 87 NFC Championship game.
I thought it said worst pass dropper ever.
Darren Nelson.
Yeah, I read it real quick.
But for the most repeat offender in drop passes is Troy Williamson.
Yeah, so we have Tony and I will discuss it this week. We'll figure out which topic we'll discuss. I'll put it in the thumbnail when we decide what it is.
Right.
But it's going to be the same time. It's going to be Wednesday at 9. That's our new time slot for this show. Like I said, if you guys have any ideas about any shows you want to do, go ahead and just drop them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe on both channels. We really appreciate it. Like we said, this is a show that's different from all the other ones. Any last words, Tony?
Now I'm really going to be figuring out some subject. Got a ton of stuff to talk about. So tune in every week, folks. There's always going to be something to talk about. If we talked about the Love Boat now, we'll talk about anything. But
Yes.
there's a lot of history with this team that we can delve into. Good, bad, funny, sad. There's a lot. So I'll tell you what, just tune in every week. You'll be pleasantly surprised. It'll be a long convo. I can tell you that much. And we always look for your feedback and your ideas and your input. So,
Yep. And we appreciate everybody who's here every week.
and thank you for the support, everybody.
Yeah.
Skull Vikings, let's win this game. Skull Vikings, honoring the name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em, fight.